Hey, what's up everyone? So if you're an English teacher, you already know the world of methodologies can feel, well, a little bit crowded. Today though, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to find your unique teaching superpower.
I mean, seriously? Right? It feels like you need a secret decoder ring just to read a blog post sometimes. CLT, TBL, Dogme, it is an absolute alphabet soup of approaches, and it can be totally overwhelming when all you really want to do is help your students learn.
So let's just ditch the jargon for a bit. Today, we're going to reframe these methods as teaching archetypes, or as I like to call them, superpowers. We're going to find the style that really clicks with you, with your personality, and most importantly, with your students.
Okay, let's dive into our first one. Are you the kind of teacher who just loves the sound of a classroom buzzing with chatter? Do you live for those moments when your students are so deep in a conversation they completely forget they're even in a lesson? If that's you, you just might be a social butterfly.
See, for the social butterfly, the ultimate goal isn't perfect grammar, not at all. It's about getting a point across. It's about giving students the confidence and the actual skills to, order a coffee, debate a topic, or tell a great story, even if they make a few mistakes along the way. For you, meaningful communication is key.
Now, what's really cool about this is how it completely flips the script on the traditional classroom. You, the teacher, you step back from being the sage on the stage and you become more of a guide, a facilitator. And the students, they're the stars of the show, the active participants who are actually driving the interaction.
So, this is how it actually works in practice. You're not just drilling grammar points, you're creating a reason to communicate. Think about things like information gaps, where students have to ask each other questions to solve a puzzle, or role plays, whether interviewing for a job. It's all about creating a genuine, authentic need to speak.
All right, let's move on to our next archetype. Do you get a little jolt of excitement when you hear a student use a perfect collocation like heavy rain instead of just strong rain? Do you truly believe that real fluency comes from patterns, not just from memorizing rules? Well then, you, my friend, might be a word nerd.
The core idea here is honestly fantastic. Instead of teaching one word at a time, which is so slow, you teach language in chunks. These are prefabricated phrases that native speakers use all the time without even thinking about it. It's like giving your students a box of language Legos. They can build bigger, better, and way more natural-sounding sentences, and they can do it so much faster.
And these little language Legos, they come in all different shapes and sizes. You've got collocations, which are basically words that just love hanging out together. You've got fixed phrases like, how's it going? And my personal favorite, sentence frames, which gives students a ready-made template they can adapt for tons of different situations.
So in the classroom, this really means training your students to see these patterns everywhere they look. Get them highlighting chunks in articles, make flashcards with full phrases on them like "in my opinion," or show them how a simple word like run completely changes its meaning when it's part of run out of or run a company.
Okay, our third superpower. This one belongs to the teacher who loves a good plan. You know the one. Your lessons are beautifully structured, with a clear beginning, a middle, and a really satisfying end. If you love building lessons around a tangible, concrete goal, you are the master planner.
So here's the crucial point, the magic trick of it all. In a TBL lesson, your students are not thinking, oh, I'm practicing the present perfect tense now. Nope. They're thinking, okay, we need to plan this charity event and create a budget. The language just becomes the tool they need to complete that real-world task. It's learning by doing in its absolute purest form.
And of course, every master planner loves a good framework. TBIL gives you this beautiful, elegant three-stage structure. First, you set the stage in the pre-task. Then, you let the students loose to get the job done in the task cycle. And finally, in the post-task, you swoop in to analyze and upgrade the language they naturally use to achieve their goal. It's so clean.
But what if that sounds like your worst nightmare? What if meticulous planning makes you feel totally trapped? Well, from the ultimate planner, let's pivot to their polar opposite, the rebel.
This superpower is for the brave, the spontaneous, the teacher who is totally willing to just rip up the lesson plan and follow the conversation wherever it decides to go. This is the Dogme approach, or as I like to call it, teaching unplugged.
Dogme is based on a really radical idea. What if the most important, most valuable resource in the room isn't the textbook, but the students themselves? It's all about stripping away the pre-made materials and focusing entirely on the language that emerges naturally from the people sitting right in front of you.
And here's the breakdown of how that actually works. The students' own lives, their opinions, their stories, that is the lesson content. Your main tool is just the whiteboard. And every single mistake or awkward phrase, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity. It is emergent language that you can grab and turn into an instant, unforgettable lesson.
So what does this look like in the wild? It could start with a question as simple as, hey, what was the most interesting thing that happened to you this week? And as the students start talking, you just listen, you guide them, and you capture all this useful language and corrected phrases on the board. The students' own curiosity is what dictates where the lesson goes next. It's a little risky, for sure, but it can be incredibly rewarding.
Okay, let's dive into our final and, by far, the most intense archetype. This one is for the teacher who is hyper-focused on results and is definitely not afraid of a little pressure. If you want to get your students to a professional level of fluency and you want to do it fast, you might just be the secret agent. This approach is actually adapted from the kind of high-intensity training used by military and intelligence agencies to get their operatives fluent in record time. Yeah, we're talking about a no-excuses, results-driven model that you can bring right into your classroom.
The SPY method is really built on 4 key pillars. You've got total immersion, which means English only, period. The language is purely functional, focused on high-stakes, real-world tasks. You maximize speaking time by keeping students constantly working in pairs, and you stress test their skills with timed drills to build that rapid recall under pressure.
Now, the tasks here are not for the faint of heart. Imagine giving your students a complex news article and giving them exactly 2 minutes to read it, process it, and deliver a verbal briefing to their partner. Or maybe you assign them 10 complex phrases that they must use correctly in the next discussion. It is intense, but man, it builds fluency like nothing else.
Okay, so after hearing all of this, you might be thinking, okay, which one am I? But here's the real secret. The best teachers, they aren't just one of these things. They have a utility belt packed with tools. They can be the social butterfly on a Monday, the master planner on Tuesday, and maybe even pull out a SPY method task on Friday to shake things up.
The real goal here is to understand the strengths of each of these approaches so you can pick the right tool for the right students at exactly the right time. So think about it. Which one of these superpowers feels right for you and your class tomorrow? Is it the planner, the rebel, the SPY? Go on. Go out there and give it a try.